Some players simply play the game, others change it forever. But the rarest kind of player turns basketball into something far greater. They transform it into an art form. Kyrie Irving isn't just another talented athlete. He's a human highlight reel, a basketball magician who consistently makes the impossible look effortless. His game is poetry in motion, each movement deliberate yet spontaneous, an elegant dance performed with unmatched grace and creativity. When Kyrie has the ball, reality itself seems to bend. His dribbling defies physics, leaving defenders stumbling, confused, and humiliated. No wonder at one point this guy thought the earth was flat. His handles are legendary, not merely among today's stars, but across the entire history of basketball. With a quick flick of his wrist, Kyrie orchestrates moments of pure magic, spinning past opponents with a subtle twist, breaking ankles with an effortless crossover, or floating to the rim to execute finishes that seemed impossible. Imagine if you teleported Kyrie Irving into the 1970s or the 1980s. They would have thought that he's performing witchcraft. Because when you watch Kyrie Irving, you're not just watching basketball, you're watching a master artist do his work, turning each crossover, hezi, and layup into something even more magical on the hardwood canvas. But Kyrie's artistry extends beyond just being aesthetic. He's also a winner. His footwork is meticulous and deceptive, always perfectly timed, allowing him to slip past defenders as if he were a ghost. Even when the opponents anticipate his moves, Kyrie somehow manages to vanish before their eyes, twisting his body mid-air and laying the ball in from improbable angles. These plays are more than just highlights, they're masterpieces. He's doing things that literally look physically impossible. But as great as Kyrie Irving is as a basketball player, he's also a paradox, a fascinating contradiction. In one unforgettable moment, he's burying one of the coldest, most clutch shots in NBA Finals history, forever etching his name into the history books of basketball greatness. Yet in the very next chapter, he's walking away from a team that was destined for glory, determined to chase his own path, even if it meant trading certainty for chaos. His complexities go off the court as well. Kyrie is a thinker, a seeker, a free spirit, unafraid to speak his mind, even if his opinions makes headlines and sparks controversy. To some, Kyrie is a misunderstood genius, a brilliant talent who simply refuses to conform, someone whose depth and authenticity transcends the sport. To others, he's a weirdo, a player who had every gift imaginable, yet willingly chose unpredictability, controversy, and uncertainty. Love him or question him, celebrate or criticize him, one truth remains undeniable: there's never been another player quite like Kyrie Irving. His journey has sparked countless debates, leaving basketball fans everywhere wrestling with the same essential question: is Kyrie Irving a misunderstood genius who lives by his own rules, or is he a player who willingly walked away from greatness? Greatness isn't given, it's created through pain, resilience, and an unshakable belief in destiny. Kyrie Irving's journey didn't begin in the bright lights of NBA arenas. It started thousands of miles away in Melbourne, Australia. Born to American parents, basketball was in his blood. His father, Dredrick Irving, had played professionally, and the game was always a part of his world. But before Kyrie could even understand the depths of his own dreams, life threw him its first and perhaps greatest challenge. At just 4 years old, tragedy struck. His mother, Elizabeth Irving, passed away from an illness, leaving a void no child should have to endure. Her absence shaped him. It gave him purpose beyond the game, a reason to push forward, to honor her memory, and to carry his family's name in a way that would make her proud. Kyrie wasn't just playing for himself, he was playing for something bigger. Raised in West Orange, New Jersey, he became obsessed with the game, spending hours perfecting his craft. While other kids played for fun, Kyrie played for legacy. The promise to his father wasn't just words, it was a mission. He studied the game relentlessly, treating every dribble, every shot, every moment as a step forward towards something greater. At 12 years old, he did something remarkable. He recorded a video of himself declaring his future. Staring into the camera, full of conviction, he said, "I will make it to the NBA." It wasn't a dream, it wasn't a wish, it was a statement of fact. From that moment, his path was set. Every early morning workout, every late night session in the gym, every move he mastered, it was all part of something bigger. The world didn't know it yet, but a once-in-a-generation talent was being built in the shadow, fueled by loss, driven by purpose, and determined to turn his vision into reality. Kyrie wasn't just playing basketball, he was chasing destiny. Some players develop into stars, others are born different. From the moment Kyrie Irving touched a basketball, it was clear he wasn't just another talented kid. He was special. High school was his proving ground, and he turned it into his personal playground. A wizard with the ball, defenders looked helpless as he danced past them with effortless finesse. His handles were hypnotic, his finishing unreal, and his ability to control the game made him look years ahead of his peers. Scouts didn't just see him as a good player, they saw a future NBA superstar. Duke University came calling, and Kyrie entered college as the #1 recruit in the nation. Expectations were sky high, and he wasted no time proving why. The speed, the shiftiness, the ability to break down any defender, it was all on full display. But just 11 games into his freshman season, disaster struck. A devastating toe injury sidelined him for most of the year, leaving everyone wondering, was this a setback or just a pause before greatness? NBA scouts? Well, they didn't hesitate. Despite the injury, he was still the first overall pick in the 2011 NBA draft, selected by the Cleveland Cavaliers to be the new face of a franchise in need of hope. And it didn't take long for him to deliver. From the moment he stepped onto an NBA court, Kyrie looked like he'd been there for years. He wasn't just good, he was different. He didn't just beat defenders, he embarrassed them. Crossovers, spin moves, behind the back dribbles. He made one of the league's best look lost. He didn't just play the game, he controlled it with an artistry few have ever seen. His rookie season was a statement. NBA Rookie of the Year. A future superstar was officially here. And the basketball world, well, they took notice. But greatness isn't just about talent, it's also about how you handle adversity. For Kyrie Irving, the road to superstardom was filled with obstacles that tested far more than just his basketball skill. They challenged his patience, questioned his resilience, and forced him to confront doubt at every turn. His journey was never simple, never easy, and certainly never guaranteed. When the Cleveland Cavaliers selected Kyrie first overall in the draft, the expectations were enormous. He was chosen to rescue a struggling franchise. Just 1 year earlier, Cleveland had been crushed by LeBron James' devastating departure.
But I also feel like this is the the greatest challenge for me. Is to move on.
A move that left the city heartbroken and the Cavaliers franchise spiraling downward. Kyrie was instantly burdened with being the savior, the young prodigy who would restore hope, pride, and relevance to a broken team. But expectations rarely translate directly into reality. Despite his undeniable talent and brilliant individual performances, the Cavaliers struggled. Kyrie frequently dazzled crowds with his incredible dribbling, effortless scoring, and clutch shots, making highlight after highlight. But these magical moments rarely resulted in actual wins. Instead, losses piled up season after season, taking away the confidence of a young player who had always been accustomed to success. The frustration was so obvious. For a competitor like Kyrie, losing wasn't just disappointing, it was exhausting. The weight of constant defeat threatened his passion, it tested his mental toughness, and it led critics to question whether he had what it took to turn around a struggling franchise. Cleveland remained trapped in mediocrity, still overshadowed by the painful memories of what once was. Then came another setback, injuries. The very style that made Kyrie electrifying also made him vulnerable. His aggressive, fearless drives to the basket, quick pivots, and lightning fast cuts often took a physical toll. Ankle sprains, knee injuries, and a recurring shoulder problem became all too familiar. Doubt intensified, and whispers grew louder. Was Kyrie Irving's body capable of handling the relentless grind of the NBA? Could he remain healthy enough to lead his team when it mattered the most? These physical setbacks weighed heavily on Kyrie, adding another layer of adversity to his journey. His greatness was increasingly questioned, his durability doubted, and his potential, well, it was uncertain. Fans wondered if they'd ever witness Kyrie fulfill his immense promise on the league's biggest stage. Yet even amidst these challenging moments, Kyrie refused to let doubt define him. He continued to push forward, determined to rewrite his story, driven by an unwavering belief in his destiny. Beneath the losses, beneath the injuries, and beneath the mounting frustration was a player determined to overcome everything standing between him and greatness.
And the young man is becoming a superstar in this league. Watch out for this young man.
A top 5 point guard right now. And the thing I really appreciate about him, his stoic demeanor. He continues to compete.
Would Cleveland ever be relevant again? Would Kyrie Irving ever escape the shadow of defeat and injury to truly shine on basketball's greatest stage? Then came 2014, and everything changed. Sometimes, getting exactly what you want comes at an unexpected price. Kyrie Irving had always dreamed of stepping onto basketball's greatest stage, showcasing his talent to the world, and proving that he belonged among the game's elite. From the moment he entered the league, he envisioned himself as the one who would deliver a championship, the player who could rewrite history for a city starved for success. In 2014, his moment finally arrived, but not in the way he'd imagined.
There's no place like home.
LeBron James made a historic decision to return to Cleveland, dramatically reshaping the NBA landscape overnight. Kyrie, once the sole star, tasked with reviving a struggling Cavaliers franchise, now found himself a part of something bigger, something extraordinary. Together with LeBron and all-star forward Kevin Love, Kyrie formed a formidable trio, a new big three that quickly ignited championship dreams through Ohio and beyond. The city of Cleveland, once consumed by disappointment, was now filled with hope, excitement, and huge expectations. For Kyrie, this moment meant recognition. His talent finally had the platform it deserved. He would compete alongside basketball's biggest star on the sport on the biggest stage. But as the spotlight intensified, so did the pressure and scrutiny. Kyrie quickly learned the harsh truth: greatness is never achieved without struggle. The 2015 NBA Finals became Kyrie Irving's long-awaited debut on basketball's brightest stage. He stepped onto the court with purpose, determined to silence his critics and prove his worth to a global audience. Yet as quickly as the moment arrived, disaster struck again. In the closing moments of Game 1, Kyrie fractured his kneecap, a devastating injury that instantly ended his season and shattered his dreams of immediate glory. Forced to watch helplessly from the sidelines, Kyrie experienced torment far greater than physical pain. He had to witness the Cavaliers fall short against Steph Curry and the Warriors, haunted by the knowledge that he could have changed the outcome if only his body hadn't betrayed him. The crushing setback didn't just hurt, it fueled a chorus of doubt from critics. Kyrie was labeled injury-prone, questioned about his toughness, and confronted by accusations that he was merely a talented sidekick rather than a true superstar. To Kyrie, those criticisms weren't just professional, they were deeply personal. They challenged the very core of his identity, reopening old wounds of self-doubt and frustration. Once again, he found himself at a crossroads, wrestling not just with external judgment, but also his own internal battle for validation. But this was more than just adversity. It was Kyrie's ultimate test. Could he truly overcome setbacks to rise to greatness on his own terms? Could he prove that he wasn't merely riding in LeBron's shadow, but standing beside him as an equal? In that painful moment, Kyrie Irving realized his mission was bigger than basketball. It was about proving to himself and to the world that he belonged in the spotlight, not the shadows. His story wasn't finished. It had barely begun. True legends aren't defined by setbacks. They're defined by how they respond. Kyrie Irving was about to silence every critic who ever doubted his greatness. In the 2016 NBA Finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers faced what felt like certain defeat, down significantly against the seemingly unstoppable Warriors. Their narrative was already set. Kyrie and LeBron had reached their limits. But with the season hanging in the balance, Kyrie stepped up with a performance for the ages. In a pivotal moment, he and LeBron took over, dropping staggering points, mesmerizing the crowd, and refusing to let their dreams fade away. Then came the highlight game, the night that defined legacies.
Curry in the pick and roll trying to get him on Irving.
Only a few seconds remained. The game was tied. Tension filled the arena. Kyrie faced off against Steph Curry, the league's MVP, one-on-one. He dribbled patiently, sizing up the moment. Without hesitation, Kyrie rose up and launched the shot that would rewrite history. The ball floated in the air, heart stopped, and then pure magic. It wasn't just a clutch bucket, it was history. A dagger through the hearts of every critic who had ever labeled him a mere sidekick. In one unforgettable moment, Kyrie became legendary. One of the greatest shots in NBA history. The Cavaliers had done the impossible, bringing Cleveland its first NBA championship and ending decades of heartbreak.
It's over! Cleveland is a city of champions once again! The Cavaliers are NBA champions!
Kyrie Irving wasn't just a part of the story, he wrote its greatest chapter. He was no longer anyone's shadow. Kyrie Irving had become a legend.
I've never seen two guys play at that level
For three straight
games.
playoff
It's the
games.
craziest thing I've ever seen. Like Bron and Kyrie were just on. Like we play well, they just play better.
But sometimes the greatest opponent isn't on the basketball court, it's within. Kyrie Irving found himself wrestling with deeply personal questions, far more complicated than defensive schemes or championship aspirations. Who was he truly? What did he want out of his career? And ultimately, his life. These inner battles shaped the critical moments that would define his legacy. In 2017, fresh off an NBA title, standing at the top of the basketball world, Kyrie Irving shocked everyone by requesting a trade from the Cleveland Cavaliers. The decision baffled his teammates, it stunned fans, and sent ripples through the sports world. Why would anyone willingly step away from the opportunity to compete alongside LeBron James, one of the greatest players ever? Maybe the greatest player ever, especially at the height of their combined powers. For Kyrie, however, this decision wasn't just about basketball. It was about proving his own worth, crafting his own legacy, and stepping out from behind LeBron's towering shadow. Kyrie was determined to lead his own team, desperate to demonstrate to himself and to the world that he wasn't just a talented sidekick, but a true franchise player.
Before you and your representatives met with ownership and let them know that you wanted out? Why not?
Why would I have to?
The Boston Celtics, one of basketball's most storied franchises, welcomed Kyrie with open arms, instantly elevating him to savior status. Expectations were huge. Boston fans, who dreamed of championship banners, were convinced that Kyrie would deliver glory once again. But with great expectations came great pressure. Kyrie soon discovered the harsh reality. Every missed shot, every word spoken in frustration, and every subtle gesture becomes magnified when you're the #1 guy. The scrutiny was intense, relentless, and unforgiving. Could Kyrie truly handle being the undisputed face of a franchise? Could he thrive without the safety net of LeBron by his side? Those questions hung in the air, unanswered, as Boston's championship dreams took shape. Then, heartbreak struck once more. Kyrie's season was cut short by injury, forcing him to helplessly watch from the sidelines as the 2018 playoffs unfolded. From that frustrating position, Kyrie witnessed a painful truth. The young Celtics didn't just survive without him, they thrived. They battled fiercely, coming within moments of reaching the NBA Finals. Doubts began to surface. Was Kyrie truly the centerpiece Boston needed, or was he somehow holding the team back? In 2019, Kyrie's dreams unraveled completely. As expectations skyrocketed, the Celtics struggled under the weight of mounting pressure. Kyrie's leadership was openly questioned, his relationship with teammates deteriorated, and locker room tension spilled into the public light. The Boston fans, who had once cheered him as their hero, turned sharply against him, labeling him as selfish, unpredictable, and disruptive. The man who had arrived as the Celtics savior became their scapegoat.
Count the fact that he departed from Cleveland because he wanted to be the face of a franchise. He wanted someplace to be his own squad. Well, that's not what's transpiring here.
What began as Kyrie's greatest opportunity quickly transformed into a nightmare. He faced a reality he never anticipated. The path that he had chosen wasn't leading him towards validation, it was leading him deeper into self-doubt. Once again, Kyrie stood at a painful crossroad, questioning his decisions, wrestling with regret, and battling the internal turmoil that threatened to overshadow his extraordinary talents. Had Kyrie made the greatest mistake of his career, or was this struggle simply another necessary chapter in the complex story of his life? A moment designed not to break him, but to shape him into something even stronger. As Kyrie Irving faced these difficult questions, one truth became clear. Sometimes the most significant battles aren't played out in front of millions. They're fought quietly, internally, in the silence of one's own heart. Sometimes greatness demands reinvention. After Boston, Kyrie Irving sought a fresh start, a chance to rediscover the joy he once felt on the court. In 2019, Brooklyn became his new home, a place where he could write his own story, free from past expectations. Joining forces with superstar Kevin Durant and later James Harden, Kyrie found himself playing in basketball paradise. For a moment, the joy returned. He dazzled crowds with brilliance, playing some of the most spectacular basketball of his career, effortlessly carving through defenses, hitting impossible shots, and reminding everyone exactly why he was considered a generational talent.
Irving on the move, looking for 50. Off the window!
But even in Brooklyn, controversy shadowed his greatness. His outspoken personality, off-court decisions, and complex beliefs once again drew criticism. Yet on the court, when everything clicked, it was basketball perfection. A team built to dominate, to redefine greatness. The 2021 playoffs seemed destined to be Kyrie's redemption tour. The Nets looked unstoppable, cruising through opponents. It felt like his moment had finally arrived. But fate intervened again.
All season long, including their stars. Looked like he came down on that ankle, landing on Giannis's foot. Yep.
In a crucial series against the Milwaukee Bucks, Kyrie Irving went down with yet another injury. Brooklyn's championship dreams crumbled alongside him. Another lost season, another bitter taste of what if. The questions linger. Would Kyrie ever escape these setbacks? Was his greatness destined to always come with controversy, doubt, and heartbreak? Kyrie Irving was still chasing joy, but greatness continued to elude him, just beyond his reach.
He's immature. I think that he's occasionally selfish. And I think at this particular moment in time, he comes off as a damn snob.
After an inconsistent time in Brooklyn, Kyrie Irving's career took another turn in February of 2023 when he was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Teaming up with Luka Doncic, one of the league's brightest young superstars, Kyrie entered a new era, one that presented both opportunities and challenges. From the moment he arrived, the fit between Irving and Doncic raised questions. Could two elite ball-dominant guards coexist? Would Kyrie thrive in a system where he wasn't the undisputed focal point? The early months were rocky, as the Mavs struggled to find consistency, but with time, the duo found their rhythm, complementing each other in ways that made Dallas one of the most dynamic offensive teams in the league. The 2023-2024 season marked a turning point. Kyrie played some of the most efficient basketball in his career. He was showing off his signature handles, making shots in the clutch, and his playmaking had improved alongside Luka Doncic. In fact, this duo was eerily reminiscent of the relationship that Kyrie had with LeBron James during his time on the Cavs. The Mavs finished as one of the top teams in the Western Conference, setting the stage for a deep playoff run. And in the playoffs, Kyrie reminded the world why he was one of the league's most gifted scorers. With his ability to break down defenses, hit impossible shots, and step up in high-pressure moments, he played a crucial role in leading the Mavs to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2011. Though Dallas ultimately fell short, Kyrie's performances silenced many of his critics. People doubted whether Kyrie could ever be a part of a franchise that wanted to play winning basketball. Well, he showed that he was a vital piece in a championship contending team. Yet just as he seemed to be rewriting his narrative, fate intervened again. Not only was his partner in crime traded out of the blue, but Kyrie also suffered a devastating torn ACL during a game against the Sacramento Kings. The injury ended his campaign, leaving Dallas to fight on without him. It was a cruel twist for a player who had battled through so much, once again raising questions about what could have been. Despite the setbacks, Irving's time in Dallas has been a testament to his adaptability and resilience. He proved he could thrive alongside another superstar, adjusted his game to fit a new system, and delivered unforgettable moments on the biggest stage. As he works towards recovery, the question remains, will Kyrie have one last great run left in him? If history has taught us anything, it's that betting against Kyrie Irving's ability to bounce back is never wise. Every generation has talented basketball players, stars who shine bright, capture headlines, and dazzle fans. But Kyrie Irving stands apart. His greatness isn't defined simply by stats, records, or championships. Instead, it's about something more intangible, something deeper. Kyrie doesn't just play basketball, he elevates it into an art form, crafting each movement like a painter carefully brushing colors onto canvases. His game is poetry in motion, unpredictable, creative, and mesmerizing. When Kyrie dribbles the ball, something extraordinary happens. Defenders brace themselves because they know that humiliation, well, it's inevitable. With seemingly effortless precision, Kyrie slips past them, shifting direction with impossible agility. He spins, he hesitates, he crosses people over. He is defying logic and gravity. His handles aren't just good, they're legendary. Arguably the best the NBA has ever seen. Basketball historians, coaches, players, and fans marvel at his mastery. This isn't just technique, it's genius. But his greatness extends beyond just having good ball handling skills. His ability to finish at the rim is equally astonishing. He twists his body mid-air, finds angles that seemed impossible, laying the ball off the glass with unmatched finesse. Each layup, each floater, it's another stroke of brilliance. He doesn't rely on power or brute force. Instead, Kyrie dances around opponents, gracefully yet fiercely, turning every play into a highlight reel. Interestingly, Kyrie is even more unique off the court. He's more than just an athlete. He's a thinker, an activist, and a deeply curious spirit who refuses to conform. Kyrie has always been unafraid to speak his mind, to question norms, and to challenge the status quo. Whether discussing social justice, personal spirituality, or the nature of reality itself, Kyrie's voice stands apart. This outspoken nature has often made him controversial, sometimes criticized and misunderstood, but always undeniably genuine. He's not driven simply by basketball greatness, but by something deeper, the pursuit of understanding, purpose, and authenticity. Kyrie doesn't play the game just for accolades or championships. He plays because basketball is a canvas for self-expression, a stage for him to showcase not only his skills, but his very essence as an individual. Of course, his willingness to be different has drawn criticism. Some have called him difficult, unpredictable, or even selfish. He's been labeled misunderstood by some, divisive by others. But beneath those criticisms lies a fundamental truth. Kyrie Irving is fearless in his pursuit of truth, both personally and professionally. His complexities, his contradictions, and his passions are all a part of what makes him remarkable. When the history of basketball is written, Kyrie's name won't simply be remembered for the championships he won or the records he set. Instead, he'll be remembered as a rare talent who made basketball truly beautiful. A player who transformed dribbling, passing, and shooting into a form of artistic expression. Some call him complicated, some call him misunderstood, but one fact remains indisputable. Kyrie Irving's greatness cannot be denied. He is truly one of one. From the streets of West Orange, New Jersey, where a young Kyrie filmed himself declaring, "I will make it to the NBA," to the bright lights of basketball's biggest stage, Kyrie Irving's journey is unlike any other. He gave us unforgettable highs, moments of pure magic when he defied physics, dazzled crowds, and elevated basketball into a transcendent art form. He also endured crushing lows, moments that tested his resilience, questioned his character, and challenged his identity. From losing his mother at a young age, a tragedy that forged his unbreakable spirit, to becoming a teenage prodigy whose talent mesmerized everyone who saw him play, Kyrie Irving was destined for greatness. At Duke, a devastating injury cut short his freshman season, yet couldn't prevent him from becoming the NBA's #1 draft pick. He arrived in Cleveland carrying the hopes of an entire franchise desperate for redemption, but endured years of frustration on a team that couldn't match his brilliance. Injuries tested him again and again, forcing him to confront doubts about his own durability and greatness. Then, everything changed. LeBron James returned, and together with Kyrie and Kevin Love, they became Cleveland's long-awaited saviors. Kyrie ended up delivering one of basketball's greatest moments, the dagger three-pointer that shattered decades of heartbreak and brought Cleveland its first NBA title. It was his defining masterpiece. Yet even after reaching basketball's summit, Kyrie saw more. In a move that stunned the sports world, he left Cleveland to escape LeBron's shadow, determined to prove he could carry a franchise himself. In Boston, he faced pressure, controversy, and the harsh realization of what leadership truly meant. Injuries sidelined him again, and the Celtics thrived in his absence, leading critics to question his worth as a superstar. His dream had unraveled. Brooklyn became his chance of redemption, teaming up with Kevin Durant and later James Harden. Once again, he showed flashes of brilliance, playing some of the best basketball of his career. Yet controversy followed him relentlessly, overshadowing his immense talent. Injuries again robbed him of potential greatness, leaving him with yet another painful what if. But then in Dallas, he redeemed himself again, rewriting the history books and establishing himself as a star who can win games and make the difference for any franchise. Through all the highs of legendary shots and stunning performances, and all the lows of injuries, controversies, and disappointments, Kyrie Irving remains a figure unlike any the sport has ever seen. He is a basketball savant, an artist whose canvas was the hardwood, whose brush was the ball itself. Some adored him, some misunderstood him, many criticized him, but none could ignore him. He may have frustrated us, thrilled us, and even broken our hearts, but he will never be forgotten. Kyrie Irving isn't just unforgettable, he is undeniable.